If I had $1 for every time I glazed Kvastov, I'd have $3 whole dollars. It's an amazing neutral game exotic, I promise you. Insane ad clear, insane transcendence energy gains, and now with the new super reworks, it can give you even more insane super energy. With the video you're watching now showing you that you can gain your super back in as little as 7 seconds. I did have a little super beforehand, but come on, I think we both get the point, am I right? I see a lot of Twitter posts with Outbreak Perfected if you're going for the boss melting route. I fully agree that Outbreak Perfected is the way to go. But when using this in an ad clear setting like GMs or Master Onslaught, Outbreak really just does not compete with Kvastov. Best part about it as well is that you can use it with any roaming super. Arc Staff, Golden Gun, Spectral Blaze if you're stupid. The world is your oyster. But in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a build that just makes gaining your super all the more faster. By kickstarting your super with over half the energy filled every time you leave it, just for Kvastov to top you off even faster than just 7 seconds. Along with a few tips on what just to look out for when customizing your own build. Super energy is a tricky thing, but we will be going over all of that in due time. So for the moment, we will be getting into the build starting off with the subclass. Now, of course, the whole idea is to go with a roaming super. And when it comes to the Prismatic subclass on Hunter, we only have 2 options. And that's either Golden Gun, yes, it works with Celestial Nighthawk as well, and Silk Strike. Now, obviously, I'm going to go Silk Strike because I am prioritizing this build in the GM setting. Lots of ads to clear. Moving over to the class ability, I'm going Gambler's Dodge. You don't have to do this. I do it essentially because I never take off my combination blow melee, and obviously these just go hand in hand with each other. You know, dodge to get your melee, melee to get your dodge. But with this build, I didn't use any of this at all. It only hurts you if you do. So if you want to go for Marksman's Dodge, since it has a lower base cooldown, go for that. It'd probably help you in this build more than you think. For the melee, obviously it's combination blow. You can do anything you want. Again, this part does not matter. I'm so busy in the super itself that I don't use any other abilities other than the dodge. For the grenade, it's just magnetic grenade because it's nice to just weaken an enemy every once in a while. Just a 15% weaken on command. And for the aspects, I go Winter Shroud because of a lot of reasons. Winter Shroud is overall just insane for your survivability. Not a lot of people know this, but when enemies are slowed, they actually are less accurate with their weapons. On top of the fact that when I activate my Winter Shroud, my class ability regen is just a little bit better. So getting that back every once in a while more often is just what we love to see. Next up is Threaded Spectre. This is just another survivability type aspect. I'm not going Stylus Executioner because I do want the 3 fragment slots that I get with Threaded Spectre and Winter Shroud. Plus, this decoy, you practically are invisible anyways when it's on the field. Now moving on to the fragments, I prioritize them to make me have as much transcendence gains as I humanly could. Also being able to apply nice neutral game effects for when I'm in a fight, like Facet of Dominance for that 15% weaken on demand with my Void Grenade, Facet of Dawn for just the radiance whenever I need it. It's nice for anti-barriers especially. Facet of Protection, who doesn't love, just an extra 15% to your DR. DR means damage resist chat, I'm just using slang. And Facet of Purpose, which since I'm using Silk Strike as my super, this will give me Woven Mail, which is an additional 45% to my DR. Again, that means damage resist chat. Now here is the Transcendence gains part. I'm actually stupid, believe it or not. This whole time I was running Facet of Devotion, which isn't bad, but we are using a kinetic weapon, so make sure you have Facet of Grace on. Now, here is something to note about Facet of Grace, is that it states, defeating targets with your super grants you and nearby allies bonus transcendence energy. And since we will be spending more time on our super than we will out of our super, everybody is going to be up on transcendence energy as much as possible. That's 20% more DR, along with a 5% weapon boost. Also just all the abilities you could possibly imagine. The regen is crazy. Now next up, I have Facet of Sacrifice. Do you need this? Not at all. Facet of Grace will have you more than covered, but with my combination blow amplifying me, I'm just gonna gain darkness energy just that much faster. So now we're gonna move on to the weapons. Now obviously I have been glazing Kvastov for this entire video, so duh, it's Kvastov. But I'm gonna tell you a couple of weapons that I have tried just so you know that this is the best route to go for ad clear setting. Outbreak Perfected is not it. Boss damage wise, completely it. Go for it. And there's not much to be said there. You've seen the Twitter posts, this is what it is. Now I heard during a G stream that Hierarchy of Needs actually gains you a lot of super, and it does respectively, but it's still kind of abysmal when you compare it to Kvastov. Now, the final thing I do want to go over, and this is for the people that don't want to take up an exotic slot. I'm not saying that this is the best option, but it's better than any other option. It's any weapon with Thresh. Well, remember this perk? It has been mid for the longest time. It still is mid. I don't even know why I said that, but it does help you a little bit more if you're just wanting that edge. If you still want to build craft into having your super as much as possible, but at the same time you don't want to take up your exotic slot, Thresh is an option, believe it or not. It's not one I recommend, but it's there for you. So now we are going to go into mods. And to the skilled eye, there's probably a couple of you that are noticing that this might be unoptimal, and I'm going to tell you why it's not unoptimal. Starting off with the headpiece, all I have is a kinetic siphon. Now for a lot of people out there, you think, oh, you're doing a combination blow build. Why aren't you running triple, double hands-on mods? Now this is going to be your first tip. Now I should have the graph on you on screen here. It's not completely filled out, but it's going to give you a base idea of what you're working with. Hands-on will only give you a percentage of your super back, and this percentage is not weighed by your super at all. It's gauged by the bar itself. So with one of the numbers that we had, it said that hands-on on a tier 2 enemy will give you 1.33% of your super back. This is not tripled at all just because you're on a roaming super. You're gonna get 1.33% of your super back every time. You double that up, you're gonna get more gains, obviously. And it also has to be on a tier 2 enemy because that's the only number we have. But to go down the route of making a melee build, you're not gonna get your super back as fastly as you would just shooting Kvastov. You saw the clip, I'm just telling you the facts. So I went just the, heavy ammo finder, heavy ammo scout route. Can't go wrong with it, right? Just make sure you got a kinetic siphon on because you always want that eyes up guardian. It's the real ticket right there. Moving on down to arms, I have a kinetic loader and then heavy handed. I'm only dropping orbs, not for my super, but for the ×7 eyes up guardian for Kvastov. Again, that's the real super game. For your chest piece, obviously just your standard resist, do whatever fits the activity that you're in. Moving on to the legs, I have scavenger and recuperation and better already, just for extra survivability and to get my heavy weapon more ammo when I pick up ammo. Now here's actually probably the only important mod other than the kinetic siphon that I would recommend, and that's powerful attraction. Honestly, I don't know a single person who takes this mod off of their class item. Pretty safe to say that everyone's got it going, but this is for when you drop an orb. You don't have to go run over and pick it up. You can shoot it if you want, but maybe there's an ad in the way. I have run across that a couple of times. It's just easier if you have the dodge, expend the dodge, you're gonna get this ×7 eyes up guardian and woven mail. Now there's a mod in the artifact with this act that I want to actually introduce you to. It has been amazing. I have never had eyes up guardian not on my Kvastov, and that's curative orbs. That every time you break a target shield, it does not have to be by a matching element type. Just by breaking it with anything, you will create an orb of power, and if you boost it, you get a very, very weak version of recuperation. Honestly, just run recuperation. You don't need to spend the tonics on it. The curative orbs is amazing, so highly recommend. Now fellas, I told you that there was a way to get over half of your super back every time you exit. So you get into a fight, you use Kvastov to get you all the way up in super energy, and then you pop out any exotic class item that has Galanor. I think I have a pretty good rule. It's Star Eater's Galanor. Not only do I get my super back just as fast, I can also start buffing it with Star Eaters. And Galanor is amazing with roaming supers, believe it or not. Hits and final blows with your super will return super energy after it ends. I don't think Galanor is one of those perks that you can get. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Spirit of Galanor is something that drops for every class. That so sucks to hear for Warlocks and Titans, but yeah, Hunters, you take the dub on this one. Get yourself a Galanor, get yourself a Kvastov, and you will be the most deadly thing on the field in your current activity. I said what I said. Now I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you have, hit a like and subscribe for me. It helps out the video more than you will ever know. Plus, I will love you all for it. And to my Hunters, go out there and show the Titans and Warlocks what they're missing out on. Take care and peace.